Well, what do you think?
About?
You always said you said Monday you like to have this team plays with a chip on their shoulder. Now you have, I guess, a little more reason being a 2 seed. I don't know. Is that a shock though?
No, I mean I don't think it matters one way or the other. You know, we've lost national championships being a number 1 seed, and we've won national championships being a 2 or 3 seed, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't think it matters one way or the other. I mean, we did lose 2 games. I'm surprised we're number 2. I mean, I thought we'd be like a 4 or 5.
Big drop.
Yeah, I mean, we're not in one of those conferences that perennially wins women's basketball national championships, so we can't be expected to lose 2 games and, not dropped. I'm just happy they kept us at 2 instead of 4.
Geno, a committee member talked about seeding and mentioned strength of the conference.
Yeah.
I feel like that's really hurt you guys.
Not if we'd have gone undefeated, would it? So if we'd have won those 2 games we lost, we'd be a number 1 seed, right? Then the strength of our conference wouldn't be, would it? So there goes that theory. So yeah, we have to go undefeated every year. Basically, is what they're saying.
What did you sense was important to the committee?
I don't know.
I
I didn't listen. I had the sound off.
I'm just wondering, UCF had an RPI of 15.
Hey,
And what are they, 10, 11?
what do you want me to say? I told you. We're not in one of those conferences that's traditionally a national championship conference.
Message to the team afterwards?
No, the message is the same one I said at the beginning. Where, you have to play. You have to play. If we're fortunate enough to play Louisville in the final 8 game, does it matter who's 1 and who's 2? I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter.
Color of the jersey.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What's, to me, that's why I don't listen anymore. I stopped listening years ago. What's hilarious is listening to the commentary of why certain decisions were made. And you see it on the men's side as well. So it's not like it's unique to women's basketball. Last night, I saw the men's bracket and I just shook my head and I go, how is some of these decisions made? But they are made, and you're not in a room with them. You're not paying attention to that. You're not privy to all the information that they have. So all you do is go, who do we play next? And then I like to have fun with it, one way or the other. It's not life and death, Like I told the players, we have a game on Friday. Difference does it make, We're not going to practice different because we're a 2 instead of a 1, We're not going to get in the huddle and go, okay, number 2 on 3. 1, 2, 3. We're 2. Gives a damn. If we were 1, you'd be asking me, what do you think? Louisville's a tough 2, huh? Well, right now Walls is going, yeah, Connecticut's a pretty good number 2. So, it's that time of the year. This is what people talk about. This is why the brackets are so much fun. It's because everybody gets to interpret them any way they like.
What were you doing like an hour or so ago, and how did you find out that the bracket had leaked early?
I happened to be upstairs. I was just finishing up a couple things, and one of our guys, Ben, I think it was, says, "Okay, I got it. We're all set." I'm like, "Got what?" He says, "I got the bracket." So I'm like, somebody leaked a bogus bracket, and then he showed it to me, and I just started laughing. And I thought, oh man, I can't believe I got to wait till 7 o'clock. Then he go, well, we're having it at 5. I said, oh, perfect.
Early dinner.
Early, yeah, everything's early now. So yeah, it was pretty. It had a little comic feel to it, a little slapstick. I don't understand why they don't do it last night. The men's thing comes on at what time? 6. Yeah, come on at 5 o'clock. Get it over with.
Yeah, they used to.
Everybody will watch it. Everybody will have fun with it, and then go to the men's thing, and over and done with. How are you going to keep us? If they had that thing already, since Sunday probably. That's a long time to keep something from screwing up. So just get it over with last night. But hey, it caused a little bit of a ripple, and everybody had some fun with it.
How close to 100% is Lou?
Based on today's workout, I would say she's shooting the ball like at 95%. She's, moving around probably at 75%, which is not bad. I was concerned because I thought it would affect her tremendous quickness and her lateral movement and incredible leaping ability. But so far, she's the same as she was before.
Any thoughts of sitting her out on the first game just to give her another
Did you
day?
see our first half against South Florida?
I did.
We can't afford to sit anybody for any game. We're not sitting anybody for any game in the NCAA tournament. I'm calling up some of my former players and asking them if they're available. I might even get Megan in the game. We're not sitting anybody out for any game. Lou would strangle me if I tried to do that.
So where do you want to see improvement in your team entering this weekend and beyond? In talking to our team, I actually asked them yesterday. I said, okay, if we had to list like 3 or 4 things, what would you guys think are things that we really want to get better at if we can in the next week or so? And they all came up with pretty much logical things. I think every NCAA tournament, every year, it comes down to, can you execute your half-court offense against a really, really good defensive team? Because that's what you're going to have to do. Can you rebound against a really good rebounding team? Because you're going to have to. And can you defend, and get stops when you absolutely positively have to? It's always been about those 3 things, and it always will be about those 3 things. So we spent a lot of our time, since the conference tournament, doing just those things. But I'm sure everybody else is doing the same thing too. We're not the only ones that know that those are the secrets to success.
So, Geno, what do you think of your bracket? I mean, obviously, things have to play out, but you got Rutgers, you got
Somebody
Tennessee,
just asked me, who's the 3 and 4 in your bracket? And I know Syracuse is 4. No, are they?
They're under their
Oregon State. Oregon State is 4, and Maryland is 3. Okay. If you ask me who's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I have no idea. I saw that Tennessee's 11. All right, so I'd have to check the bracket. Whoops.
That's right.
Let's see. Albany, here we go.
On right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
All there.
It's a good bracket. Did they already say which is the hardest bracket? Has that come out yet?
They probably
Like in the World Cup, the group of death. Was there a bracket of death? Has anybody established themselves as being in the bracket of death? I haven't heard it yet, so we'll wait and see. Tomorrow we'll probably find out what that is. That's all right. When I just quickly glanced at it, I saw there's 16 teams. There's 16 different ways of playing basketball, from what I could tell. But here's the fallacy in the tournament. And when you look at the bracket, you see 16 teams. How many of them do you have to play? How many?
3, 4.
3 or 4? 4. So you look at 16, you go, "Whew, Jesus, what a bracket." You only got to play 4 of them. You just don't know which 4. And the 4 you think you might have to play, 1 or 2 of them are going to get upset. So you can't even think about So that's why I said we got a game Friday. Okay? We got a game Friday against Towson. And then we play the winner of Buffalo somebody. Who else?
Rutgers.
Rutgers.
Buffalo Rutgers. So that's how, and the only reason I know it's Buffalo is because CD says she had a conversation with Felicia Leggett. When I see the bracket, I, in my mind, go, who do we have Friday? And then I don't even think about what the next game is. I could care less. So I don't even know who's playing, who might win, who might not. I could care less. I just know we have a game Friday. And then we'll worry about that after that.
You know, with Nafisa and Katie Lou coming down the stretch and having great careers, they're also held up against all of this.
Yeah.
How much will the ability or inability to win 6 more games shape their legacy, do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I think if you're going to be judged, I think at Connecticut, I think there's a lot of criteria. Carrie Bascom, won no national championships, and I think she's as good as anybody that's up on that wall. Rebecca Lobo won 1, Jen Rosati won 1, Carol Walters won 1, Nikisha Sales won 1, Shea Ralph won 1, Sveta won 1. So when you think about it, they won 1, and they've been in the Final Four 3 years in a row. I think their legacy is going to be, well, let's name the top 20 players in the history of Connecticut basketball. I don't know, what number before you get to those two? Somewhere. And the people all in front of them could be potential Hall of Famers. So that's not a bad group to be in. I just would hate to think that unless you win 2 or 3 national championships, you've had a disappointing career at Connecticut. That would be horrible. That would be unjust and unfair to anybody.
How about forgetting the outside perception of any of it? Have you gotten a sense for how important it would feel to them?
Well, the one thing,
Players as
yeah,
freshmen?
the one thing that I think is huge in high school and college is if you can win a national championship, if you can win a state championship your senior year and just walk off the court for the last time with the confetti coming down on your head, how can it get any better than that? But who gets to experience that? We've been so fortunate because we've had so many seniors that's how they left the court for the last time. I think the matter, for me personally and my coaching staff, I know that for a fact, when Feast and Lou walk off the court for the very last time, whether there's confetti falling on them or not, I'm going to feel like I've just been fortunate enough to coach 2 of the best players that have ever played at Connecticut. In a lot of ways. But I would want for them to experience what that feeling is. But so does every coach of a whole bunch of other teams in the country. So that's why it's so devastating when you don't win, when you think you can or should. I just think so much of Lou and Feast, coming here as freshmen and thinking back to their freshman year and, such wide-eyed and like, oh my God, look where I am, and look who's here, look who's on our team. And now, some of our freshmen are going, oh my God, I'm playing with Lou and Fisa, and so it's funny to see them at the other end, 4 years later. That kind of makes me smile a little bit.
How do you think those freshmen will respond? I mean, I'm sure it helped getting some tournament experience.
They'll themselves, I'm sure, because that's what freshmen do. But once the game gets started and we start going up and down the floor and the bodies start flying and things start going, the crowd will get all blocked out. Whatever it is that separates the NCAA tournament from any other game, it'll all start to blend in, and then they'll realize they're just in a game. But in the beginning, yeah.
Geno, Trish's team is going again, obviously.
They're a legend. They're a dynasty. Jeez, man. How many years is this in a row?
3.
Feels like 33.
Are there any talks of you guys playing each other at some point, and getting some kind of a Connecticut thing going?
I don't know. She and I have talked about it in the past couple of years, for sure. So it's not anything that hasn't been thrown around a little bit. And who knows? I mean, it could happen. It just hasn't happened. Part of it is just our TV situation is so that we have very, very, very few games that aren't necessarily predicated by TV. And then so many of them are recruiting based and where we need to be and where we need to go, that it doesn't leave a whole lot of games left. And then I'm sure they're going to want a return game. So that's another home game we have to give up. So a lot of things go into it, and I hope that we can pull it off at some point. I just don't know when.
What do you know about your first and maybe second round opponents?
Well, the same thing I always know at this time of the year, only what I'm going to see on film. That's it. I know I probably know a little more about Rutgers just simply because of all the times we played Rutgers over the years, even though it hasn't been recently. I don't know if we've ever played Towson, ever. I don't know.
Once.
Where?
Here 6 years ago, or 8 years ago, 7, 8 years ago.
Did we win? Okay. All right, so that's it. That's as far as I can see.
So another Trish question. Obviously, you wore the T-shirt a couple years ago,
Yeah.
and you've expressed.
I don't
good
need to
feeling.
anymore. I hope she wears a UConn T-shirt.
But in terms
We
of
could
what
use the publicity.
been able to build down there, does it remind you at all of what you were going through at the beginning of your program?
Absolutely, and I think she and I have talked about that. In that, in the beginning, nobody takes you seriously, and in the beginning, you want an opportunity to prove yourself, and you want to make the NCAA tournament, and then you want to win a game in the NCAA tournament, and then you want to win 2 games in the NCAA tournament, and they've already done all that. And now, when people go, you don't want to be playing Quinnipiac. It's like when guys used to, remember 100 years ago, you don't want Gonzaga in your bracket. Well, now Gonzaga's the number 1 seed. They're not Gonzaga anymore. Somebody else is, whoever that is. I don't know. But they're like that in our game now. They're one of those teams that enough people have seen them play that go, I don't know if I want to play at Quinnipiac. So once you get that reputation, that's pretty good. And I think that's where they are.
Have you seen anything encouraging in the last week, Geno, either Kristen and Olivia continuing to play hard in practice, or the intensity that you talked about that you saw in practice defensively leading up to the AAC?
People don't change much. You are what you are by this time of the year. So there hasn't been that much of a change from, 2 weeks ago to today. And the people aren't going to change that much at this time of the year, as I said. I think the one thing that can change is, our concentration just has to be spot on every time. Putting them in situations that they have to really, really concentrate, because now every little thing. Count this tournament, men's and women's tournament. Last 5 minutes of the game, somebody shoots a free throw, you don't block out, they get an offensive rebound. You know what's going to happen. They're going to kick it out, and the guy's going to make an open 3. In the regular season, that never happens. Maybe once a month. These next 2 weekends, it's going to happen once a game. That's just the way it is. You don't get a loose ball. It's kicked around 5 times. Somebody picks it up, throws it off somebody's head. Guy catches it, makes a three. That's the NCAA tournament. So, every little thing, every little loose ball, every block out, a pass to get a guy open, catch and make a layup. All these little things that just require some concentration. In the middle of January, in a road game, my bad. In March. Sorry, guys, I know I cost us the season. So that's what we're always trying to harp on. Let's make the easy plays look easy.
So given that they don't change much, how about the confidence, though, that Olivia got from the way she played in the American tournament? Is that going to pay dividends in the NCAA tournament?
I think so. Well, at least I have confidence that I can put her in, and I'll have a pretty good idea what she's going to do. But now when you looked at the conference tournament, Liv had a monster game one game and was in foul trouble the whole second game. One other game, I forget what it was. So she's capable of playing great, and she's capable of playing like a freshman. What are we going to see when the tournament starts? Probably a little bit of both. But at least I'll know that I'm okay with whatever comes, because I think she's earned that.